Hello everybody, welcome to my new Sunday market breakdown. As usually, we start on the DXY on a daily chart. So last week, what did we forecast was that we had a potential shoulder 1 here, had shoulder 2 that could play out where we were here. On Monday, we opened here, we went back to that inversion and shoulders, and I was saying we could hit that beginning of correction here. This was that correction, and we tapped it, and then the sellers kicked in again to grab new liquidity here. So this was a nice analyzing trade of the DXY. So what I forecast now is we have still that bullish M that is in play, this major bullish M. We have that whole correction now. So the price got its rest after the sprinter got its sprint. It needs to rest. So this is the time it could have take some breath, and it's potentially pushing now back again up this upcoming week to the daily TP here. So we tapped our first previous structure here, where we have nice support also, support, resistance here, resistance, support again. So this is a clear supply momentum that could hold the price up. If I go to the weekly, on the weekly we have still that major bullish M here sitting that could play out to the upside. And we have that smaller one also. So this is nicely to see. And we are closing above this weekly supply and demand. So acting here as resistance, resistance, support, support wicks. Then if I look further back, resistance, 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 support wicks, resistance. So this is a clear supply and momentum that can hold the price up to tap that monthly highs potentially or the weekly highs where the sellers can potentially can back active at that point. The daily was clear. We we touched our daily first zone of interest, and on the 4 hour, what can we expect? On the 4 hour, I want to see a potential pattern. We can potentially form diesel, but it's a really big bullish M, so I want to see a pattern. So I want to see here that bullish M. So first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, and then we can go to the upside. Or we have an inverse and a shoulders reversal pattern like this. Shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2, and this liquidity week here, I will not count it with me. So we need to have a break and then the reversal sign for going to the upside. Then the first trade I'm looking at AUDCAD. So on the daily, I'm looking for a hedge position. So what is a hedge position? It's a full completion from this low to this high. We have a full completion here. We just tapped it if I take the round number. And we have a nice daily candle close aligned with the daily supply and demand zone, selling zone, acting here as support, here resistance, 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 potentially resistance, potential false break of these highs because we have only one candle that is closing above these highs. So this can be a false break to go for that short. If I go to the weekly, on a weekly, we can see we are also tapping here these weekly highs. And these are all sellers here sitting, as you can see, also some support weeks here. It's a major supply and demand zone on that weekly, and on the monthly, it's more clear that we are also on the monthly high zone. As you can see, the sellers monthly high, potentially going to make that natural M here, same highs, potential same lows. So for me, it's 1 out of 4 for that short. If I go over the weekly, for me, the weekly is still bullish because we had a low, high, low, new high, and this is the same lows here. So yeah, then we are at the same high, so potentially making that same high, same lows, going back to this beginning of correction because this is also one correction. So the only thing that is for me is this monthly selling zone, weekly selling zone here that can trigger some sellers to go to the downside to make that false break. And yeah, the fib from this low to this high is against you. So then the trend also is bullish. So this is against us. The candle close is bullish. So we want to take a short is against us. The fib from this low to this high was against us. And this selling zone here is for us. All the sellers are sitting here. sellers, 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 potentially sellers. So then we can count supply and demand. So on Forex, 1 out of 4 for a hedge is okay to take for me. So we can take the trade. The daily was clear, and on the 4 hour, we can take the trade. The deceleration limit stop loss above this wicks here, and we can take a trade when the market will open for around 2.5% to my 4 hour TP, where I take fully partials out. Or if you take it to the previous structure daily, then it would be 4.16% till that I see here. So then the next one, GBPAUD, also a potential retrace hedge position. We can see we have a fib completion from this high to this low, minus 57 fib completion daily, fully candle close, nicely aligning with a weekly buying zone. So that's nice to see. And if I go to the weekly, you can see on the weekly we have here a clear impulse. This is your whole correction. And what did we see? Shoulder one had shoulder two, clear buyer sitting here, also clear supply and demand zone acting here as resistance, support wicks, support wicks, support wick potentially going to the upside. This is what I can see right now for that weekly. If I go and look for the criteria, the trend is potentially against us because we have this W. It can be also a question mark because we also made here the first time break. Some people will say, okay, it's bullish for me. We can go and make that inverse and shoulders. I will count trend with me. So you can just place um question mark as you can see. So yeah, then the candle close is not for us. So I need to adjust this one. So for that long, and then the fib is for you and the supply and demand. So actually a 2 out of 4 for that long, which is okay to take potentially deceleration on that 4 hour. We are already making two candles with a bullish candle close. So we have potentially a third candle close here. Then we can take the trade and we will trigger it with the fourth one. Then this trade would be active. So this is the trade I'm looking at. So it needs to develop a few more hours. Then USDCAD. So I was looking to this bullish M, first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, and we tapped that fib levels here from this low here to this high. We tap the fib levels. If you drew it like this, then you just not tapped it. If you had it through like this, but for me, this is the real bullish M here on that weekly. So we must draw it further to the upside. Then you would tap it here and also here. So for me, the fib is active. And what we can see when we are active on that fib is we have here a shoulder one, head, shoulder two, inverse and then shoulders, and we can see a potential small bullish M within that. So this is a pattern in a pattern. And what the thing is, because we made here the same low wicks, I looked on the 4 hour, and if we have a break, we have a break here because this is shoulder one, this is the head, shoulder two, false break here, liquidity got taken, we can go back to the upside. So this is a real shoulder one then, inverse and then shoulders. And what I'm looking at is this shoulder one, head, shoulder two on the 4 hour. The entry would be on this IC, on the top of this IC, and then this can be potentially playing out to the 4 hour minus 27. So this would be the trade I can also take USD CAD. And then the next one, Euro GPY. So this is the bigger bullish M. It's actually more clear on the weekly because you have here that bullish M on that weekly. We tap this previous structure high, which can become support here. We tapped it, so this can be our supply and demand zone. So if I go to the daily, back again, so this was the bullish M on the weekly, this one. So it's a major big bullish M. So I'm looking for a pattern on the 4 hour, and I found also some supply and demand zone acting here as resistance, resistance, support wick, resistance wick, support wicks, support wicks. So this can be the supply and demand zone that can work for us with the fib completion from this high till this low, minus 27 fib completion holding there. So, and some kind of ascending trend line here holding the price potentially up as a first touch, second touch, third touch, we can go to the upside potentially till that previous structure I see here where there is a really important zone if we come back to this zone that we are in the trade before we tap it, because a lot of times it can go more to the downside that it can play out as a bearish W. If you have a bearish W with an IC, of course. So if I go over the weekly, I will just delete this drawings here. If I go over the weekly, on the weekly, we have our trend for us because we are making here that bullish M. So the trend is for us. Candle close, this red one is against us because we take the long. The fib from this low till this high is working for you. And then the supply and demand, I'm acting here as resistance, resistance, support, potential small support weak. So it can hold there as your supply and demand zone. So this is a 3 out of 4 for that long. Daily was clear. I can go to the 4 hour. And the 4 hour, we have a potential bullish M without break of structure, shoulder first leg here, second leg here, third leg, small close above these highs, and then we can take a trade on this previous higher low here, then to the 4 hour minus 27 to go break even and stop loss below this wicks. So this can be the trade that can also be placed on your GPY. So this is my trading week for the moment. I hope you liked it and see you next week. Bye.